Welcome back to Nintendo. Today, as you can see, it is April the 7th. This is a slightly different location when I get to film the video today, but we are going to go through today's stuff relatively quickly. Hopefully, we'll see. I haven't even looked through the news yet, so let's double check what is going on. If you haven't already hit the like, subscribe button, all the fun things, let's get into it. It is, again, April 7th. Alright, and the first thing that we get to do today is we get to look at a 3D view of the Joy-Con, the Joy-Con 2, which is the new one that they've got there. So we can go through it, go around it, which is different. And look, it's basically the same thing that you've seen before, so you kind of know what it is. Now, obviously, this is if you want to go around it like, you know, normal, and I guess that's how you're going to take it out. You're going to hit that little button there just to remove that thing. And they did say they tried to make that a little larger, so that's great as well. These the SR and SL buttons there, so that's pretty damn good. Look, it looks basically like what you've already seen, which is a Joy-Con, the Joy-Con 2 as we saw in the Direct. If you haven't seen the Direct, again, go check out the Direct. But you can see the C button that is down there as well. Now we want to look at it on the different axis there. We just go to the second page, and you can obviously look at it like that and see what it does look like from top and bottom. I don't really think that there's much to this controller, but that is the Joy-Con 2 today that we get to see, which is pretty damn good. But let's get to the next thing that we're going to see for the day. Alright, and the next thing that we get to watch today is the Donkey Kong character intro. That is the next article that is on Nintendo Today, which is DK there. And you got a great little picture there of him smashing through whatever it is, hopefully your screen, and when you get the Switch 2. But obviously Donkey Kong is a mild-mannered goofball who can usually be found jamming in the jungle with his friends. He's always hungry for bananas and always has room for more. And there you get to see, let's see the video they've got there for Donkey Kong. And I guess that's the beginning of the clip, from the trailer for Bonanza. But let's see what that's all about. Yes, this is the beginning of the clip from Bonanza, which, definitely something awesome. And I guarantee you, if you watched that Direct, you were wowed just like I was. But this is the new model Donkey Kong. And he's goofy. He's goofy and he's having a lot of fun. I love it. I can't actually wait to play this game. But again, that's what Donkey Kong's doing. You see him smashing through things. I assume that's also Diddy Kong, what's with him in that second picture there. But you're looking for these crystals, from what I've heard from people that have actually played the game. These Switch 2 live events, which are happening at the moment. But you've got, Donkey Kong again. He just looks like, I'm telling you now, Bonanza is going to be a fun game. I'm looking forward to playing this game. It looks like it's going to be hilarious. It looks like it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. But let's get to the next thing. And as you can see, the next thing here is Mario Kart's Daisy. You got her riding a motorcycle there, so that'll probably be her motorcycle. And we'll go through, look, that is a pretty darn good action shot there, which, I have seen that they can do the photos. I was watching the Treehouse. If you haven't seen the Treehouse, where you can take live photos while you're playing the game, you can obviously pause it and do a thing there. I'm wondering if you can do that if you're playing single player in the races, because that would be a heck of a lot of fun as well. Or if you just, damage other players that you see in the environment as you're playing the open world aspect of it, and, you get to do a little pose. Can you take pictures of that too? Who knows, But again, like, these are definitely things that you can do while you're jumping and flying around and stuff. This looks good. This is Daisy, if you are going to play as Daisy. And look, this looks like they're racing. So surely you can do this while you're in a race. I'm keen to see what happens with this game. I'm very keen to see if this is something that you get to do all the time or not. But let's move on to the next thing. And the next article in Nintendo Today is Super Mario Power-Ups Illustrated, and we're looking at Bubble Mario. So you pick up a bubble flower to transform into Bubble Mario, and that is the bubble flower. Now, I'm not sure. I think that this must be from Super Mario Wonder, the newest one that was released. I haven't played that game, to be honest with you, but this is the Bubble Flower and Bubble Mario, and you get to blow bubbles that capture enemies and turn them into coins, which actually is awesome. I wonder if you can do that in the Super Mario Kart world. world. You can maybe have a bubble attack. That'd be an awesome power up to get, where you can bubble someone, maybe make them rise and drop a few coins. That would be a heck of a lot of fun. But you know, this is Bubble Mario, and we're looking at, yeah, there you go. It was in Super Mario Brothers Wonder, by the way. I just noticed that at the bottom of the images you've got there. But you can use from bubbles to jump from platforms as well, which is that's pretty awesome. That is an aspect that I know that we saw in Tears of the Kingdom for Zelda. If you haven't played that, again, another great game to play, but that is something that I know that we saw in that, and this is you know, just another way to use bubbles, and I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a good idea. But let's get to the next thing. Now we're going to watch the Link's Awakening 2024 medley. We'll watch this together. Hopefully the sound is up enough for you guys to hear it. I had to turn it down because I noticed that you know, I'm not very easy to hear when this is loud. I love how joyous this music always sounds, by the way. It just sounds like a lot of fun. Like, tell me you're listening to that, you can't get into this. This is a lot of fun. I just love it. And I love that they're showing Link's Awakening, the gameplay, as they play the music. A heck of a lot of fun, man. And these players are so damn good too. This is some skill, right? Some skill. It's obviously footage from the new Nintendo Switch version of Link's Awakening. If you haven't played that, I haven't played that, but I hear it's good. I hear it's a nice reimagining of an old game, or remaster. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I just love how, like, it really looks beautiful for let's call it a remake, remaster, whatever you want, but it does look beautiful the way that they've done the newer game. I really love that. There's something just, you know, enamoring about that Switch vibe that it has. And I'm sure the people that played Link's Awakening, by the way, on the Game Boy Color, I'm sure that that was an amazing game there as well. But this is something different. That was the Link's Awakening opening, I believe. Damn good. Damn, seriously, the orchestra, just great. And the next thing we're going to look at is, well, obviously you've got a bit of artwork from the Adventure of Link, which is, I do believe that's Zelda 2. If you have played that, that is probably the black sheep, what they call it, the Zelda family. But this is some artwork, and again, that is that classic 80s style of artwork that we had. Obviously, things have improved a lot since then, but this still, it's nice, it's classic, it's good. Let's get to the next thing, because that's all that this article is. All right, now we're looking at some Xenoblade Chronicles, the very first one. Another character sort of analyses or a look at a character from Xenoblade Chronicles. And this is a look at Fiora, who, if you haven't played it, does play a pretty large part. And she is of the Homs race. She's Shulk's childhood friend and, one of the main character Shulk's companions. We look at a couple of the artwork there, and, it's Fiora. It is what it is. But this is some good art there. I don't know if we would call it concept art, but definitely some good artwork here that you can use. And then I guess let's get to the next article that we can see here. Let's see what's going on. All right, and the last thing that we have today is some Fire Emblem history, and this is Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light, and this is for the Famicom. April 20, 1990 in Japan only, so the US and everywhere else did not get this game. But look, it does look good. It's definitely it's definitely a Fire Emblem. It's definitely that again, well, I feel like this was released early April, so the artwork probably would have been decided late 80s, probably 89. And again, this is definitely some very 80s artwork that we're looking at here. It's still not bad, and that's the cover from the Japanese release of the game there. And let's get into the story. The Shadow Dragon Medeus, 100 years after his defeat at the hands of the hero Anri, has returned to plunge the continent of Arcanea into fear and despair, which is a pretty standard story for a lot of these old kind of games. Medeus rebuilds the Dollar, and I don't even know if I've said that correctly, Empire, and joins forces with Pontifex Garnef, who shares his ambitions for world domination. Together they set out to subjugate the entire continent. A descendant of Anri's royal house, King Cornelius of Altea, takes up Falchion and attempts to repeat his predecessor's heroics, but before he can slay Medeus, he is betrayed by his erstwhile allies in the kingdom of Gra. In the ensuing chaos, Altea collapses and Falchion is lost. Prince Marth, just 14 years old, manages to flee Altea to the remote island kingdom of Talus. Though he is received warmly there, he dreams of returning to his homeland and freeing it from oppression. Conflict comes to Marth again on his 16th birthday, so 2 years later, as the Golder pirates suddenly overrun and occupy Talus Castle. Joining forces with Princess Kada and a handful of Altean soldiers, Marth resolves to drive the pirates out. It's pretty, I feel like one of those sort of standard war-torn storylines for Fire Emblem, which is great. I have no idea. I never played this game, and I really have no idea who any of these characters are. But, I'm sure it's a pretty damn good thing there. It was the first Fire Emblem title. This game was the starting point for many hallmarks of the franchise. Class promotions, permanent loss of defeated units, which is a good, I feel like that's one of the craziest things. They call it the permadeath system, which is awesome. I mean, that adds a hell of a lot of attention to pretty much every and anything that you're playing, any games you're playing, when you know that if your character dies, imagine, can I just say this now? Imagine if they did that in Pokemon. They did a perma-death or a perma-faint situation in Pokemon, where as soon as you lost one of them, or you lost all 6, that's it, they're gone, you have to get 6 new ones. Do you know how crazy that would be for a game like that? This is something that I think they could implement in more games, just to spice it up a little bit. I reckon this would be awesome. So there's permanent loss of defeated units, and the fabled triangle attack all began here. And I know I went on a little bit of a tangent there, but I'm just saying this, if you bring the permadeath system into so many different games, like I said, example Pokemon, bruh, that's a game changer. Even if that's like post-game or Pokemon Game Plus or whatever you want to call it, that would be a system where like it would just change the game for so many people. And I really think that would add to the playability, which obviously those games have so much already, but you could do so much more with them. Well, that's pretty much the article, and that is everything that is today on Nintendo today, and this was a little bit of a longer episode than normal. I do want to try and keep them very short for you guys who are watching it. If you have new to the channel, again, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and by the way, thank you for the 2 that have subscribed already. Yes, I have been noticing and paying attention, and you do get a call out here because you guys were the first ones to subscribe. Thank you, have a good time, and I'll see you next time. Bye.